I'm taking it for granted that everybody has said that you want to be the boss of this. There are two kinds of bosses. Because, because, because there are two stages in the healing journey. And therefore, there are two kinds of healings, two kinds of healers, and two kinds of clients. To know where you are on the healing journey is important, because then you will know what to do next. Should I take this up? Should I invest in this? Or should I invest in that? So two kinds of bosses, and you're going to see which kind of boss you are right now. The journey is this. It's not a very well laid out road, never is, but it is a well-worn path. And the journey has a gate in front. The two stages of the healing journey are before this gate and after this gate. Go ahead, Neelu. So, well-worn path and very nice. We're not stumbling around, we're not falling apart. When we begin on the journey is not the day that we sign up to work with somebody. It is the day that we get interested in our horoscope. It is the day that we discover Linda Goodman. It is the day that you get fascinated by the fact that you're a Sagittarius, that you're a Leo. And from there, this thing starts growing. Maybe you discover numerology. Oh, I'm a 2 person, I'm a 5 person. Oh, my life path, I must calculate my life path. What is my karma number? Or you could be an Enneagram person. I am a 2 Enneagram, I am a 3 Enneagram. Maybe you discover archetypes. I'm an orphan archetype. I'm the hero archetype. I'm the warrior archetype. The journey begins with you starting to have slightly advanced definitions of you. Meaning, some definitions you have. My name is so-and-so, my mother's name is so-and-so, my father's name is so-and-so, my house is in so-and-so, I went to so-and-so school, I've graduated from so-and-so. Some definitions you have, but these other ones, these other definitions begin. And when these other definitions begin, around the same time, and if you look back, you will see how close by they are, around the same time, a realization also occurs of what it is that you want. Maybe what you want is to leave your house. Maybe what you want is a boyfriend. Maybe what you want is 10 boyfriends. Maybe what you want is 10 girlfriends. Neelu, is everything okay? Because our picture moved away.
Yes, I had to change. Then everybody would have seen my settings. I just stopped screen share for a split second. Sorry about that. It'll just be back up.
I was just so wondering if everything is okay. So everything is. Thank you. What was I saying? Yeah, realization. The realization that I want this. Now, when I say realization, it's not a very active realization. You just start living like that. I'd rather spend time with my friends. I'd rather spend time in the library. I would rather spend time in college. I would rather spend time painting. A self-definition begins. And this self-definition starts becoming bigger, where I am so-and-so, I want so-and-so. I am so-and-so, so-and-so has happened to me. The bad touch has happened to me, cheating has happened to me, betrayal has happened to me. Your story starts growing bigger. It's more of the story. there's more of the story. There's more of the story. And when your story starts growing like this, the desire to share your story also starts growing. You want people to know the good things and also the bad things. Because what we share is divided in misery and multiplied in joy. We all want this. We all want somebody to know this happened to us. So the sharing of the story is the first active part on the healing journey. But your healing journey began that day, the day that you got interested in the palmistry, in the face reading, in the zodiac sign, in checking your astrological report every morning. It began there, but your activeness is here in the sharing of the story. Whether you are sharing with a friend, whether you are sharing with family, whether you are sharing with a professional, the healing journey begins with the shifts that take place when you share. However, some of us keep sharing the same story everywhere. Some of us have been saying the same story for a long time. Because if you notice the wheel in the sharing of the story, when the wheel keeps turning, the story also keeps turning. When the wheel keeps turning in the same place, what's going to happen? What happens when a wheel is in one place and you keep turning the ignition?
A lot of churning that happens and you're stuck in that place.
And you're stuck in that place. In the turning of the wheel, when you are turning the same story, the wheel keeps going lower, 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 lower. You are now literally in a rut. Because the story is now gone into the rut. So while I tell you the next thing, very quickly tell me, for those of y'all stuck in a rut, how much is your rut? How much is your stuckness? The reason we continue saying the same story over and over and over and over is because we're waiting. We're waiting for something. We're waiting for a result. Whether it's waiting for somebody to change. No, Ma, please don't click on these. Whether we are waiting for somebody to apologize. Whether we are waiting for somebody to give us money. Whether we are waiting for somebody to validate us. Whether we are waiting for somebody to acknowledge us. Or whether we are waiting for somebody to acknowledge their wrongness in our life. There is a waiting in the saying of the same story over and over and over. And waiting is an expectation. Because you're expecting something to happen, right? You're waiting because you have this expectation. But in that waiting and the expectation, because the story is continuously turning and going deeper and lower and deeper and in the rut, all waiting and expectation never comes to fruition. In this part where we are before the gate, and by the way, nobody can go beyond the gate before going through the beginning of the gate, before reaching the gate. At this point, we are seeker, in bracket student. We are primarily seeker. We are seeking a result, which is why we are outward in. Meaning, tell me what to do because I want the result. I will stand on one leg for 16 Thursdays, but I want the result. When we are seeking the result, outward practices, divination, horoscopes, palmistry, readings, rune work, all kinds of result-oriented guidance is where we go to. And all of us have done this. None of us are here without ever having met a tarot reader. Tarot is, of course, like Bay, right? None of us are here without at least having come across, if not taken up, some changes and reports of numerology. We're in India. I guarantee everybody has visited a palmist. The external journey of the waiting of the results means also that it is very difficult to take a look at what's going on inside. You did not know till today that in the saying of the same story over and over again, you got into a rut. You didn't know this till today. This is the place where once in a while, I will have my most upset client. I have spent thousands of dollars. I have spent so much time. I have done this for the last 30 years. I have worked with almost everybody you can think of, and then some more. Because in this rut, where you are waiting for the external result without realizing you've fallen into the rut. What's going to happen in a rut, my love? In a rut, we wait for somebody to save us. In a rut, we wait for AA to send their towing car. Everything becomes about the outside. When is my money going to come? When is my child going to go abroad for college? When am I going to get married? The external journey of the outward in invariably gets to a point where it stops. Some results you would have had in the work you have done in your outward journey. You will have, but the results start to break down. The results almost stop. And the reason they do that is because we didn't know, but we know today, that we were sharing the same story. That we were just grooving the path over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And now we have fallen in that rut. We can't even be seen. Only our story is booming out of us and impacting the law of attraction. A story of stress cannot bring you a reward of money. A story of pain cannot bring you a healthy partner. That is not how life works. Outward in, seeker. The seeker, because everything is outside, the seeker is very rarely in touch with their emotions. This is also the place where most people will show up numb, blank. I can't feel anything. I can't sense anything. Nothing's changing for me. How are everybody else having results? The closer you get to the gate, the more the results start breaking down. Because the seeker is only interested in the results. The seeker only says, just let me know how I'm going to get my $1 million. Don't ask me to take a look at this. I have gone to therapists. I have gone to counselors. I have spoken my story. I have dealt with my story. Why are you in the rut? Close to the gate is where you will recognize old wine in old bottle. Only size of the bottle has become bigger, and that's it. The seeker student has a very important role to play in all of our journeys, and all of us have been here. This is where we start. This is where we go. This is where we must pass through. This is part of our growth, because the seeker is also a student. While we are seeking, the student is picking up stuff. Is picking up stuff. Is collecting data. Is collecting something. And then at the gate, either something life-changing takes place, or you hear something, or you recognize, wow, I've only been looking outside and I've completely forgotten that the law of attraction, which is as within, so without, is applying to me as well. And of course, in this part where we're seeking the result, you also didn't know that you were actually waiting for something. Maybe you know, I'm waiting for my car, I'm waiting for my job, I'm waiting for my money. That you know. But the fact that you have been sharing the same story over and over again, which is signaling to the universe, please give the same story. Please keep sending the same story. So even though your story is, I want the money, I'm doing what I can for the money, but the money is not coming, the money is not coming. And it will not come. When you would have first started your journey, things would have happened, something would have shown up. The more you are the seeker, the student, the more you will see that results are beginning to break down. Here is where you want to enjoy divination. You want to look at divination processes. You want to take a look at somebody saying, from September 30th to December 40th, this is going to happen. You want to know that my Sarasati is going on. Sarasati is like a dreaded 7.5 year of a Saturn period that happens for everybody in everybody's charts. The desire for a fixed result means that you are also not going to receive feedback. Because this is when I said my upset client, when I say we got to go back to the start, we got to go back to where you're sharing your story, because something's left, because something there is making you wait for something here. I don't want to do that. I've already done that. Either I will get 700 lines of an explanation that you should know I've studied this, I have done things, I have understood things, or I will get these raving, ranting notes. But you don't understand, but I know that I want to do the decrees. Why are you asking me to go to another body of work? But the seeker, student, I have made something for them in this package. Because the seeker becomes the student, and the student becomes the seeker beyond the gate. Beyond the gate is where you start having the joy of looking inward. You start having the joy of thinking, today I'm angry. I will tell you, in the seeker student here, we get caught in the same story. In the student seeker, which is beyond the gate, we go beyond the story. It's the story behind the story. It's like Mona mentioned this. And I'm going to try and look for that post. Mona spoke about how she realized that one of the things that she was doing has to do with this particular program that's going on with her mother, the story behind the story. And Nilu, we will move beyond the gate. Behind the student becomes the seeker. The story behind the story. So Priya called me up and she said, can you help me stop my husband from drinking? Very clearly, this side of the gate wants an external result. Not only external result, wants a result for somebody else. So I said, tell me a little bit more. So she mentioned that he goes out with his friends. When he comes back, she can't bear it. She's enraged. When he's back, she wants to kick him. She wants to throw a fuss. She wants to threaten to leave and go back to her mother's house. I said, what about it is the worst? She said, the worst thing about it is the smell. I can't bear that smell. I can't bear it when he comes home smelling like that. And in the deeper work, what does it remind you of? What is the problem with the smell of alcohol? she remembered when she was about 7, in her building, her neighbor, who was a violent alcoholic, had one of his rages, was raising his hand on his wife, and his wife had come to these people's house. And as she was speaking, she said, I'm not being able to speak properly. My lips are shivering, my cheeks are shivering, my jaws are shivering, my hands are shivering. So much fear of that particular memory. Of course, we cleared it. She was on a VIP, which is a 20-minute session. Most of my sessions have very limited times. I do Speedster Lightning, which are 5 minutes, and I do regular Speedsters, which are 10 minutes, and my VIP Speedsters are only 20 minutes. And she was on a VIP Speedster. And of course, we quickly began to clear it. How that child was, one, hearing this man screaming, this alcoholic drunk screaming, and then how there was this moment where when the wife came to their house and they locked the door, this man started coming and banging on the door. And she says, I could smell the alcohol. The story behind the story. Do you want to let this go? Is your husband an alcoholic? No. Is he doing this very often? No. But I can't bear it when he does it because this. Do you want to work on your husband or do you want to let this go? You want to let this go. We let it go. We let it go. By the way, my VIPs are like 15,000, 18,000, $330, $220. And this, when we did for her VIP, she didn't have to visit anybody. But 6 months later, she called me back. Over 6 months, she just now and then would let me know that I'm not regular, but I'm doing it. It is incredible. It is okay that my husband goes out. It's absolutely fine. Sometimes when he comes back, we even have other extracurricular activities. And then 6 months later, she said, hey, it's come back. It's come back. I need another session. I said, because you already know how to use the decrees, because that's also the thing with the decrees, my love. It's so simple. It's so easy that in a session, you will walk away knowing what to do. You will have the tools. Of course, on the group calls and the workshops, you will have the tool, but you will continue your journey. So I said, okay, you've done your VIP. You've been working, even if irregularly. Take only the 10-minute. Tell me what happened. She says, no, something is happening to me again now when he's coming home after time out with his friends. Let's take a look. Let's go back to that night. What is it now? And in 3 seconds, we'd already given a decree. In 3 seconds, she said, oh, this is my mother's fear. Because she was clinging to her mother's sari. This is my mother's fear. It has come on me. So I am not being able to separate from this mother's fear and my own fear. And in fact, now I'm realizing that my complete panic and my heightened senses were because my mother was trying to be brave for this girl. So her fear was not being processed. So her fear was falling on me. The story behind the story. And of course, 10 minutes is all you need because 1 minute alchemy, 1 second alchemy. You don't need more time than that. Sort it. It's been more than 1.5 years. She has not called me. It is done. If she had continued in the outward in, what remedies should I take for him? Should I change his name? Should I change his signature? Should I make him join AA? Time, money, bandwidth, energy levels, well-being. The 330 USD, 18,000 for a VIP is because you have to do none of these. You do not have to pay a bigger price for what you're going on, because 1 minute alchemy, 1 second alchemy, everything is so quick. Across the gate, the story behind the story, the seeker has become the student has become the seeker. So it's not that the person here doesn't want more money. It's not that the person on this side of the gate doesn't want the new house, doesn't want the promotion, doesn't have ambition. Not at all. The approach is very different. I'm interested in how I'm feeling. I'm interested in my story. I am enjoying learning about my story. The more I uncover these stories, the easier and better I feel. And then receiving feedback is not such a big problem. There's better breathing. The moment you have better breathing, everything is better. If you can breathe better, if you can focus on breathing better, your health is going to get better. If your health is going to get better, your wealth is guaranteed going to get better. If your health and wealth are getting better, the relationship you attract will also start getting better. This side, because we're doing internal work, breath is internal. So you breathe better and your results just keep growing, 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 growing. Emotional processing is much simpler. For the seeker student, I have package A. For the student seeker, I have package B. And then I have a first class business option for both.